What up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your co-host, Christian, and I'm joined today with my good friend, with the lead co-host of the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast, my good friend Anthony. Say what's up.
So my fucking title belt, just so everyone knows here, my buddy and I disappear. So hi, my buddy Christian's gonna be taking over. I'm just gonna be straight chilling the whole time. I kind of smoked a blunt a little bit before, so I'm just a little purple haze up in this bitch. So I'm excited. We're having a bomb ass time. Christian's gonna be taking over the All Elite Wrestling Dynamite recap. I'm excited. I'll just be chilling with my title. If you see me moving around, because I'm trying to get you guys get a good look at this, my baby, this title belt. So, all right, take it over, sir. I'm just gonna be chilling.
All right, guys. So I'm here today to recap the AEW Dynamite episode on November 30th, live in Indianapolis, Indiana, from the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. I thought it was a good, decent way, for Dynamite. This is the first Dynamite we're seeing MJF since his victory at Full Gear. So it's Wednesday, and you know what that means. As always, we are welcome to the show with the great Taz and Tony Schiavone. So they start the show off with the former three-time AEW champion Jon Moxley makes his entrance as the crowd, as usual, singing Wild Thing. Moxley then goes in the ring, says he grew up near Indianapolis, and mentioned wrestling many times in the past there. Moxley said there's three certainties: death, taxes, and Jon Moxley. He even said outbleed. Who's going to outbleed Jon Moxley? Let's be honest. He's the king of. No one's going to outbleed him. It's unnecessary, but I'll get into that later. Jon Moxley shouted about how he is at the top of the food chain, AEW. He said that the AEW ring belongs to him. He is the top wrestler. He is the heart and soul of AEW. Moxley talked about how there is not a man in the back or within 100 miles of here that can tell him different. And here we go. It's Hangman Adam Page making his return after suffering concussion from Jon Moxley.
How long was he
Moxley,
gone for?
um, I believe it happened. I think it was the match after he fought Punk.
I had no idea. I knew he was gone, but I was just like,
Yeah,
sorry,
did you see the video?
no. What was the video?
Oh man, Hangman was running in and Moxley gave him a mean clothesline, and
Oh,
he like did like this is the front of Hangman's face. Moxley did like a clothesline and he like did a backflip and landed like really bad on his head. They stopped the match and everything. Hangman got taken off on a wheel cart. It was bad, but he's not cleared. But
okay.
yeah. So it's Hangman Adam Page making his return back after suffering a back concussion after Jon Moxley gave him one. Moxley asked if you want to do this after you know what happened the last time. If you don't know, like I just mentioned, Jon Moxley gave him a nasty clothesline, which left Adam Hangman Page suffering a serious concussion. The announcers didn't know if Page was clear to compete. Moxley charged at Page, but then they were separated by a couple wrestlers and referees on hand. Moxley tried to charge at Adam Page again, and Moxley tripped on the wrap and went crashing down. Um, I just want to hear your thoughts about this. This is a really good way to open AEW. My only thing about it was really weird to me that Jon Moxley didn't mention anything about William Regal or MJF stabbing him in the back. Because that's something we all want to know. We all know Regal is expected to sign with WWE soon, so it just leaves us in questions. Are they okay? Have they spoken to each other since what's next for the Blackpool Combat Club? But yeah, Anthony, what did you think of the opening segment and also the return of Hangman Adam Page?
Well, I'm gonna move my there we go. This is a perfect position. That's what she said. So yeah. That's how I feel about it. No, so I thought this was a really good opening segment. I feel like what's funny is AEW kind of started out as like showing a lot of the personal, like behind the scenes stuff. And I feel like they're trying to cut corners with that, with everything going on with the Elite and CM Punk drama. So I feel like with them, with William Regal sort of like leaving, I think they might just be sort of just like, you know what, we're just gonna wrap that storyline and not even have Moxley say anything. I do wish they did do that too, because Moxley had some very choice words for him last week. So I was kind of wondering, like, if there was any other thought. But maybe that was his final thing was, like, I never want to see you again. I'm done. you know. Maybe this week after, you'll get into what happens later on in the show, maybe Moxley will have something to say. But I was excited to see Adam Page, though. I know he was gone for a bit. I was excited to see him, trying to build up some more AEW guys. But yeah, it was interesting. Adam Page doesn't really do it for me, to be honest. I think he's cool. I think the fact that he used to be a teacher is awesome. So I don't know. I just think Moxley is my favorite, though, out of the two of them. So go Moxley, yo. Wow, thing.
One thing I do want to ask is, what do you think's next for Jon Moxley? We know Adam Hangman Page still isn't cleared to compete as of right now. We know, he just lost the AEW World Title, so he's probably in the back of the line for a title run, as MJF has an upcoming match next. Well, not I don't want to say this week because we are recording 2 days before Dynamite. So this week on Dynamite, MJF will be taking on Ricky Starks. So Moxley's kind of in the back of the line on a title run. So what's next? What's next for Jon Moxley?
I feel like there's gonna be some new kind of something unfold. Maybe someone who hasn't been on for a while might show up again, or maybe I think it's interesting that, like, why are you gonna throw Adam Page in a situation if he's not even clear to compete? Like, like you made him get physical, and now you're gonna be like, oh well, he can't actually compete. Yeah, but he just fucking went out there and took a couple of shots from Moxley. But I guess maybe it could be a friend of Page's, someone who can stand up for Page right now. I don't know. Who do you think? Because I don't know. You're more of the AEW guy, my friend. Who do you think?
Um, I'm hoping to see Hangman
QT
return
Marshall.
No, we don't want to see that guy. I'm hoping to see Hangman return soon. I think the story going into their first match where Page suffered the concussion, I truly think it was a really good build up to the match, and it sucks what happened to Hangman because that's certainly not the way the fans wanted to see the way. That is certainly not the way the fans wanted to see the match end, and I know that's certainly the way Jon Moxley didn't want to win the championship. So I don't know, we'll see. But it was time for the first match of the night, and it's with the Ring of Honor IGWP Double A Tag Team Champions Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler or Dax Harwood coming in with Cash Wheeler, who went backstage. Dax gets a lot of singles matches in AEW, so this was good to see Dax Harwood finally get a one-on-one match. He's going against, my opinion, the best technical wrestler of our modern era, Bryan Danielson. But the fans were chanting this was awesome before they even locked up. I feel like Bryan Danielson has gotten a lot of that throughout his time with AEW. And if you remember his first Grand Slam, he fought Kenny Omega, first match of the night. The crowd went fucking insane. So the crowd was good during this match. So Bryan went for a kick to the head. Dax ducked it, and then they locked up, leading to Dax getting a shoulder tackle. Bryan avoided submission by getting to the ropes, and Bryan did a kick to the head. Dax stomped on Bryan, which led to Bryan regrouping. They exchanged chops in the corner, Bryan with some kicks as well, and Dax managed a crossbody block up the middle rope for 2. Dax with a kick to the chest. Bryan sent Dax out the ring with a rough landing for Dax, but hitting the turnbuckle, and Bryan hitting a suicide dive, sending Dax Harwood over the barricade, and with them exchanging more strikes to the pitcher-in-pitcher break. And real quick before I go to the rest of in detail for the rest of this match, I like how AEW does the pitcher-in-pitcher thing. I know WWE doesn't do that, and it's cool because we know during WWE, if you've been to a WWE event, they kind of just stall during commercial break. They kind of just like interact with the fans. They don't do much of wrestling until commercials back on. So with AEW, they're doing the pitcher in pitcher. They're not just sitting taking a break. They're keep wrestling. So what do you think about pitcher in pitcher? What AEW does?
Well, I think what I like about hello, as I move up, can you see it? Oh, wait, turn
Yes.
to the side. There you
No,
go.
you're good, my friend. You're
Turn
good.
to the side. So basically, because I'm all about showing this shit off. So
Oh, I don't
basically,
blame you,
and you better get one, by the way.
Anthony. Give me, give. I will before
I'm gonna be a bad
first
influence on you, my friend.
when we cover the Royal Rumble predictions, everybody, I will have a title belt around my.
It won't be the real title though, because I'm the actual real champion right now. So
You will.
just
I won't spoil it. It may be the United States. I may change my mind. I don't know, but You're just gonna have to stay
I
tuned.
kind of want now that I got a classic, I kind of want like a current one, but like at the same time, classic is what I grew up with.
Classics. Oh, yeah.
You know,
See,
I
I
like
grew
the
up with
ruthless
more.
aggression. I kind of want the world title, the ruthless aggression
So do
one.
I. I want the old United States Championship with the flag on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, do that. Bringing me back. But okay, picture in picture. What I like about, and I told you guys about this. I did the whole Fight TV thing so I could get the subscription from United Kingdom. When you watch Dynamite on their Fight TV app, they actually commentate during the picture in picture and they show the whole thing. So like
I
when
did
you
not know that.
yeah, so when you're watching it, they're like it's you don't know when they're doing picture unless they say we're back on because the entire
Oh.
time when you're watching it on the it's weird like because UK like when you watch it on Fight TV like when the commercials come on and they don't do the picture in picture, you're good. It's just
Sorry, I didn't want the mic to.
I don't know if that was like a flu. Like I didn't know what was going on. I was kind of confused. I was like, is this a clarinet situation? The recorder, I'm going back to high school or not high school, grammar school, middle school.
Grammar.
I'm old, grammar school. Yo, I need to go home, grammar school. So yeah, I feel like picture in picture is cool, but I don't like the commercials because it kind of takes away from it. But like in United Kingdom, when there is a commercial break, they just have like a picture of like the Dynamite logo. So, but I do like picture in picture. It's cool. But again, I do wish they did more. Like, I have to turn this way. I do wish that they had more like during the commercial breaks. I wish that you could actually hear the audio. I know they're selling stuff, so they can't, but it's good that they do that because it's good to see. I like
Oh,
it.
absolutely,
What
absolutely.
about you? Do you like it?
Oh, I absolutely enjoy it. Like I mentioned, it's cool to see them not, just kind of like take a break and like, interact with the fans because they do that in WWE, the pictures. And if you go to live shows, you see it. So I'm when I first started watching AEW, and I've been watching AEW since I've really the first episode, but I kind of took a break for a little bit and then rewatched it in the Stadium Stampede. But I really like how they've done that. But so the pitcher in pitcher is over. Dax Harwood was in control with three German suplexes in a row, including a third one. That was a release. They did some moves with counters, and Harwood managed to hit a power driver for a 2 count. Bryan has a long history with neck problems, so seeing Bryan land the way he lands sometimes is kind of like, eh. Same thing with Saraya. That's why I don't want to just real quick. Saraya, Edge. A lot of these guys could have had career-ending injuries. It's really scary to see them land. So, but I know Dax Harwood is a professional, and I know he wouldn't let anything happen to Danielson. So, but Dax tried to move off the top for nothing. Bryan avoided it. Got into a cradle for two. Dax went to the floor, leading to Bryan hitting a jumping knee off the apron to knock Dax Harwood down. Bryan overlooked Dax with some hard chops on the floor. They were back in the ring as they battled on the turnbuckle with Bryan delivering elbows to the chest. Bryan tried to belly to back suplex off the top, but Dax countered with the cover to land on the top for two. Bryan with headbutts, then Dax with clotheslines, then Bryan with two clotheslines. Then they exchanged clotheslines several more times as the fans came alive. They dropped down to the knees as Dax hit a clothesline. Bryan hits his own clothesline and then a double clothesline that knocks both of them down. Holy clotheslines. But that is one of my favorite
That was cool.
moves.
I like seeing the double clothesline attack
I know.
because it a clothesline the way they do it in AEW that I like, and sometimes they do this in WWE, is like they don't like they take them really good, like they're stiff, like you can hear them like just tense up and get ready to take it because they know it's gonna boom. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So they have a double closer that knocks both of them down. Dax with a punch, then a power bomb attempt. Bryan countered, and Dax got a sunset flip for two. Bryan got a kick to the head for 2 count. They exchanged some more moves again. Dax applied a sharpshooter near the ropes, where Bryan grabbed the ropes to force a rope break. They did a sequence of multiple cradle attempts from both guys, which I also liked seeing since they are both two really good technical wrestlers. Bryan applied the label lock submission. Harwood taps out, giving Bryan Danielson the win. I thought it was a good match between two very talented guys. Like I mentioned earlier, Bryan Danielson easily being the greatest technical wrestler Dax Harwood, we know Dax Harwood, doesn't win a lot of his singles matches. But when he does get singles matches, man, they're great. I know we like seeing, him with Cash at FTR. I know we like seeing him as a tag team, but you really got to give credit to Dax Harwood as a singles competitor because he is very, very good. But the crowd was very, very much into it. There was no story going into it. It was just a match that two guys wanted to have, and there's nothing much to say. I just wish that Dax would, have some more wins when he does singles matches because he is a really good individual wrestler. But enough of me talking, Anthony. What did you think about the match between these two?
No, thank you for those impressive highlights, my friend. Um, that clothesline massacre, man. Boom. Well, I'm a big FTR fan, so anytime they come out, whether it's Dax or Cash, I do think Dax kind of. I think we talked about this with the Street Profits, right? Like Dax kind of has that Montez Ford appeal where, Cash is good, but Dax just. I feel like, and I'm not gonna be one of those losers like, oh, I always knew. But out of the two of them, like in NXT, even, I feel like Dax had more of a appeal because he just different looking. He had the mustache. But I like them because they are like old school technical tag teams. It gives me like 80s vibes. That's why I really like their theme song. The original, that the song that they come out to is the original Midnight Express song,
Hmm.
but it's just remix, which I think is really cool. Um, Bryan Danielson, obviously, you don't even need to say. You said it. The American Dragon, one of the best technical wrestlers of all time, probably the best of our generation right now. So you said two guys who are probably friends in the back really just want to put on a show for the fans and getting an opportunity to really face each other. Um, I do think though that it wouldn't have been bad for Dax to win this because Bryan has won and done so much. I always like to say when I look at, I don't know if it's just like title matches or regular, I always try to think of like who will it benefit more. And Danielson's a great wrestler, but you know, you have like Sting beating guys like half his age. So like it wouldn't
Right.
be hard to believe Dax getting a win over Bryan Danielson, but still bomb ass match.
It
And
was a really good match.
I'm a fan of both. So but did you think Dax should have gotten the win, or are you happy
No,
that it was?
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Bryan Danielson. I feel like it makes more sense for Bryan Danielson to get the win. But at the same time, like you mentioned, Dax, he's such a good singles competitor, and he needs to get more wins, like I mentioned earlier, because you can't just. It's like I understand he's such a good tag team wrestler. He holds 3 championships. That's what he's known for doing. And when he was in WWE, he didn't have much he didn't I don't even think. I can't tell you a Dax Harwood match he had in a singles match in WWE. So I appreciate that he's getting singles matches here in AEW. But he needs to win a couple because it makes him look like he can't win without Cash Wheeler, which is not true at all. It's just not.
I agree, sir. Sorry, I
It's just
wasn't sure if
not.
you wanted me to come or not. No, I think I agree. I just think AEW is good at building guys that you don't expect to be as good as they are. Like when I first saw Sammy Guevara when he came out with that whole bear thing, I was
Right,
like, what is
yeah.
this kid?
I said the
So they're
same thing about
making
MJF.
right, they're making names out of these people, which is good. But yeah, I mean, I think I like this. I like this stuff. So keep on going, sir.
Awesome, awesome. So, Ricky Starks was interviewed by Tony Schiavone saying he will be in the Battle Royal to win the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Ricky also says he's coming for MJF's world title at Winter Coming because he earned the title shot, and Ricky will prove that he is absolute. Real quick before we go on with the show, what do you think about Ricky Starks getting a title opportunity against
I think
MJF?
he's absolutely boring. When I saw him at when we went to Dynamite, before when was it?
I want to hear this because I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with you on
Okay,
that.
you're
A
cool.
big time.
That's cool. So let me tell you what I think. This is just my opinion.
No, I respect it 100%.
Um, he has a good look, 100%. All right. I think he is good on the mic. He is good personality, and I base this on the crowd. When we were in AEW at Dynamite, it was right. I don't know what pay-per-view it was. You'll have to tell me. Kingston versus Jericho. I said this before. And I think it was Adam Cole versus Adam Page. I don't know what it was.
Revolution?
It was probably Revolution because
Was it in Orlando? Was it in Florida?
I don't know. I don't know. I just know that we went in like February or March. So it's probably Revolution.
I think it was Revolution.
If the opening match was Kingston and Jericho, then that's the one. We went to the Dynamite right before the pay-per-view.
Okay.
Did Ricky Starks win the Dynamite anything that night, or did he?
Looking at right here.
Sorry, I'm like commentary. I'm like, what?
No, you're good. You're good. So I do believe
he was involved in like a
yes.
ladder match, right? Didn't he win the match or something? I could be wrong.
That was such a long.
Anyway, not necessarily. It doesn't really matter so much. My take on it is he was competing in a match.
Yeah,
and I think he was a TNT champion at the time, and no, the crowd was dead, and I feel like when I watched it on TV again, it's hard to tell, but like the crowd's not really invested. I don't think like he won. We'll let you cover his match later on, but all I've seen of him, I'm not super impressed. Now, it's not a real good judgment because I haven't seen all of his work. But from what I have seen, I'm just like, okay, let me look down for a minute. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think he's bad. I think I just don't get his gimmick so much. Like I know he's this New Orleans, and again, it's not a fair judgment because I haven't watched AEW from the beginning. I saw when he was in Team Taz.
So that's where I want. Yeah, so that's why.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so when Ricky Starks was in Team Taz, I liked him a lot because he really to me was the charisma in Team Taz. He was the one who talked the most. He really you could feel his charisma, you could feel his promos on the mic. My only problem about Ricky Starks is he's been booked like absolute dog shit, and that's all because of Tony
Yes.
Khan. Tony Khan, you need to step it the fuck up because Ricky Starks, he's so good. Not just on the mic, but if you look at his wrestling, when he had his FTW championship run, and yes, he might not have had some good opponents, not the best opponents, but he really has the potential to be a main event level wrestler. And if the crowd loves him, I don't know about the Dynamite you went to, maybe not, but from what I've seen on TV, the crowd really enjoys his promos. So I'm excited to see Ricky Starks. I know he's not going to win the championship. I don't think he'll win the world championship anytime soon, but he could definitely be like a high mid card talent, ranking a run, chasing the TNT title, with a high mid carder. That's where I would put him.
But okay, I feel you. Listen, I'm down to see like what he does on Dynamite. I just feel like it's hard because we both don't really see him doing anything other than just being like a mid card person. And the way they're developing him, they want to almost be like a big it's something like trying to make him like The Rock, And I feel like we all know that's not going to happen, not because of anything against Ricky, but The Rock's The Rock. But
no, absolutely.
Let me go back to you.
So after the commercial, and I don't want to get too much into this because it's really not important, but I just want your opinion on Ring of Honor's Final Battle pay-per-view. They just announced that Chris Jericho will be defending his Ring of Honor World Title versus Claudio Castagnoli. Do you have any interest in Ring of Honor? Do you have any interest in what AEW is doing in Ring of Honor? Because
yes.
Okay.
I do, and I'll tell you why. Because I thought that fatal four-way match at the pay-per-view was the best match of the night. My opinion, I know people the storytelling, like the action, like when I was recapping it, it was like boom, boom, boom. Like I underlined everything. So I'm excited. I think Chris Jericho is obviously a good name to have because everybody knows him. He's a good person to, utilize the title for that. Claudio Castagnoli is one of my favorite wrestlers. He's just a killer. Um, I'm not like, oh my god, I can't wait, but I'll watch it hopefully. Give it a shot. I just hope it's not like a stupid ECW type thing. Like we already have a Rampage. We don't need a. And then they have like Dark Evolution. It's like, what is this gonna be a third fucking one of the? I don't know. But what do you think? Are you excited?
Um, I will be honest, I'm going to end up watching the pay-per-view. They just announced it's only going to be $40, which should not be that much anyway, but I'm going to end up watching it. Um, my problem is I'm such a wrestling fanatic where it irks my soul to see Chris Jericho hold the Ring of Honor championship because there's guys who've been in Ring of Honor, Adam Cole, Kyle, I know they're all hurt. Bryan Danielson. There's so many guys who deserve to have that title. I understand Jericho's a big name that had the title, but it just doesn't seem like organic for him to hold the title considering he's never been in Ring of Honor. When Tony Khan first bought Ring of Honor, I was very excited because I thought they were going to make a comeback because I was a huge fan of Ring of Honor back in the days with Adam Cole, Kevin
Mhm.
Stern, which is now Kevin Owens. CM Punk, Samoa Joe back in the day. So I'm hoping the final battle is the final battle and they kind of just because Rampage has kind of become Ring of Honor in its
Yeah.
way. So
I have a
I don't know.
question for you though. Because I have an idea, but not really. Is there a Ring of Honor guy who's like probably top dude that hasn't been on AEW yet? That because I have a feeling like maybe Jericho might win or Claudio, but you're right. Like, it should go to someone who has it. Is there somebody who could be world champion that isn't in the company yet? Because I think, like you said, all those guys are injured. They're not going to give it to Bryan Danielson because, I mean, they could and they may possibly should, but they're not going to. So, I mean, I don't know much about Ring of Honor, but is there anybody who stands out that could possibly show up and be like, you know what, like old versus the new? Because I would love to see. I'm all about invasion storylines, and I would love to see being like, okay, this is your version of Ring of Honor. No, like we are the original dudes, and even if they're AEW guys, have them click up and like, I don't know. I just feel like when you have a company like I don't know much about Ring of Honor, so I want to be introduced to more
Okay.
original people. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. And so the problem is Ring of Honors doesn't have necessarily a roster. So they have well, most of their guys are AEW at rosters. So we have Chris Jericho, he's the Ring of Honor World Champion. Samoa Joe, he's the Ring of Honor Television World Champion. FTR, the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. We have Daniel Garcia, he's the Ring of Honor Pure World Champion. So maybe I feel like a good person that hold that title maybe Jay Lethal. He's doing something right now, his thing right now with Jeff Jarrett. But he in my yes, but in my opinion, Jay Lethal, he's been in Ring of Honor since the start. One of the only people in AEW that's been in Ring of Honor since like the beginning. So maybe I would like to see Jay Lethal.
What
But
if
now
Adam Cole came back and was like, you know
that
what,
would
I
I
want
would
that
all.
title.
He's a three-time AEW World Champ. Or oh my God,
I
He's a
just feel like
three-time Ring
someone
of Honor
needs.
World
I
Champion.
feel like
So
they're gonna bring someone. I mean, if I was doing it, I want people to watch my show. I would start it out by making a big surprise and making a big name show up at Final Battle and being like, I want the title. And I know that Adam Cole. I mean, I don't know the time frame on all these people, but Adam Cole can do like a little NXT type deal, go down there for a bit, do his thing, and then show up and try to go for the AEW title. I just think someone with some kind of star power needs to do it. But let's jump back to you. I'm
I
sorry. You said let's
no,
not
I
talk a lot about this.
absolutely
I
no,
commandeered.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, yeah, you're good. You're good. So we're gonna move on to the TNT Championship match, which is Samoa Joe versus AR Fox. I just want
By
to
the
say,
way, not to cut you off, AR Fox is from my home state of Connecticut, Ansonia, Connecticut. I heard he's really good. I haven't seen his shit, but I was like, go Ansonia.
well, so AR Fox, I've seen a couple of his things. My he officially joins the AE roster and now gets a TNT title shot. What about the people that've been there who hasn't had? When was the last time Darby Allin had a TNT championship opportunity? When was the last time any of top mid card level guy has had it? Sammy,
Here's
I know,
something I
like,
noticed with AEW. They
have too many damn
They
championships.
do, but also they don't like. It's almost like they make these guys be unbeatable. Like they're like Darby Allin can't lose. This guy can't lose. This guy can't lose. Because if you think about it, like none of these guys like ever get title shots because they're always involved in other matches, and the matches they're involved in, they usually win. So it's almost like you look at it, you're kind of like, okay, you're gonna book someone who you know is gonna lose, which sucks that that's how they do it, but that's what they do. They book people that you know. Listen, Jamie Hayter winning was a surprise to me, 100%. But like Acclaim versus River Glory, like I'm gonna say this 100%, and it's not a tarnish on my title. That pay-per-view was so predictable.
Full Gear?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
that's my problem with AEW is that you don't let guys like Darby Allin shine because we don't want him to lose. We want him to be with Sting all the time. It's okay for him to lose and be like a Dax Harwood, lose and still shine. But keep going. Sorry.
No, you're good. I just don't understand why AR Fox is the guy to have an AEW or TNT title shot right away. But okay, so this match is Samoa Joe versus AR Fox for the TNT title. Joe overworks Fox with punches along with a forearm to the head. Fox uses his quickness to avoid Samoa Joe, leading Joe leading to a kick to the head, knocking Joe out of the ring. Fox jumped over the rope. Joe did his classic walk away, and Fox landed on his feet. Um, Joe did a front leg sweep and a sensation splash to the back. They went to another pitcher break. They came back from the pitcher break where Samoa Joe was in full control with the sideways slam, and Fox's mouth was busted open from something. I don't know what it was. Maybe a turnbuckle. I don't know. Maybe I didn't catch it in the picture. But Fox jumped off the rope with something, and Joe did the classic move. Joe ran over Fox with a running elbow, followed by a muscle buster for the pinfall after probably a 5-minute match. This match was nothing special. It was just Samoa Joe dominating the entire match. Maybe it was just a way to get AR Fox, over for him just signing to AEW. He's fighting for the TNT Championship against a big name. So maybe this match was to put him over. I knew he wasn't gonna get the win. Um, Only half the match was shown because it wasn't long, so they did like 3 minutes in picture, and the other 3 was on camera. But Joe kicked his ass. After Joe won the match, he does a promo telling us that he's the king of TV with 2 different TV titles. Warlow's appears on the screen, and the fans chant Warlow as Warlow just stood backstage instead of coming out and fighting Samoa Joe. Real quick before we take our first break here, what did you think about this quick little match between Samoa Joe and AR Fox?
He didn't really do anything for me with AR Fox because he got his ass kicked. They should have booked him in like a Rampage or like something where he could have shined a
I
bit more.
absolutely agree.
But Samoa Joe's great. I like Samoa Joe. I think he's awesome. Big Samoa Joe fan. He's getting a little bit old, but he still can fucking handle it. So I don't mind it. Wardlow doesn't do it for me. Wardlow's boring, but I'm a big Samoa
Absolutely.
Joe fan. And they're like, oh, Samoa Joe looks scared. Samoa Joe looks scared at all. But
Yeah.
let me go back to you, sir.
Nope. Okay. So you caught me off guard.
Nope. Okay.
I thought you were gonna say a little more here. So we will be taking our first break, but when we come back, we will be covering MJF and William Regal.
Big deal, brothers. All right, sisters. We'll be back.
What's up, everyone? I'm your co-host, Christian here, back at it again with my man Anthony. Say what's up.
Whatever. I'm glad you know who you are, Christian. I was nervous there for a minute. You're like, I'm my
This is
fun
my
story.
first time Anthony's letting me take over the podcast,
He's killing it too. Can I just say something really fast, Christian?
Go ahead,
Uh,
go ahead.
Ladies, this dude is charming, good looking, young. Viva la razza,
Keep saying it. Come on,
I
come on. You're
mean,
making me blush. Come
he's
on.
got a lot of long hair, hairy legs. Um, which I'm pretty sure the ladies will like to, I'm not gonna lie, Tori, likes to play with the, with this a bit, listen.
I'm
But
not a hair
listen,
guy.
he's
I
taking
don't
over.
like it.
But I want to say, what's I want to say? Fun story. My coworker at school, she was like getting upset with the situation that was going on, and she was like calling everyone's name, and her name is Kathy, and she was going, Miss Anthony, Miss Kathy, and I'm like, wait, but you're Miss Kathy. I'm like, take a minute, that was you for a long time.
You don't remember who you are,
Yeah, it's a fun experience.
but we are back at it.
Our co-host
Let's
just
talk.
left.
I'm right here. I don't know what happened. I'm right
What
here.
happened?
Had
He
a
disappeared. He can time travel too.
time travel. That's something you guys got to know about me. That's you got to find out
That's what
because
I'm saying, man. Ladies, I'm gonna wait. You know what? Yo, I got your nickname,
oh my God, what is it?
dude. I'll tell you later on. It's gonna be.
All
I'm gonna
right, well, tell me all
cliffhanger.
fair.
Well,
All
I'm
right,
not
all
telling you
right.
on here, but
Oh, okay,
cliffhanger,
okay,
dude. Keep
okay.
going.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
let's hear from MJF and William Regal. William Regal makes his entrance where he gets in the ring and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your new AEW World Champion, Maxwell Jacob Friedman." I'm very, very happy with MJF as the new AEW World Champion. About time. I've wanted this to happen probably for a year and a half now, so I'm happy MJF is finally getting his title opportunity. But MJF gets in the ring, hugs William Regal. MJF says he knows that the fans aren't bright, but when the best wrestler in the world has a microphone, they should keep their hillbilly mouth shut. MJF tried to say more with the fans chanting "shut the fuck up" to MJF. It led to MJF reading an email from William Regal telling that he was weak after the firm attacked him. Regal told MJF he didn't have to grab the diamond ring, he had to grab the brass knuckles. MJF said he met with Regal many times saying that Regal was a genius. MJF said that Regal didn't want MJF just to beat Moxley. He wanted MJF to leave Moxley with an emotional scar so he didn't forget the day he was outsmarted by MJF. MJF moved on to talk about the AEW World title, saying he made the promise to make the change around here. MJF said when he looked at the title, it made him gag because it was tacky. It lacks class and it reminds him of all the men that held it previous before him. MJF said that they were all talented in their own right way, but none of them are on his level because he's better than you guys and you guys know it. MJF said that his version of the AEW World title is garbage at MJF said that this current version of the AEW World title is garbage, much like the fans is garbage. MJF tosses the title down and quickly Regal removes the black cover and the new AEW World title is revealed. It's just the same thing with a freaking Burberry strap on it, which is more of MJF's vibe considering he likes his, Burberry rich boy scarves, but said nobody deserved to be recognized as world champion except for him. MJF even talked about the greats that have held championships, talking about how he will make guys like Bruno Sammartino look like the worst champion of all time. MJF continued with the message for everybody on this show and on this roster. MJF said that he is going to be the world champion for a very long time until the bidding war of 2024, where he wants to get a bigger contract and trashes the crowd again, saying that he'll get more money than the fans will ever get in their lives. MJF talks about how the right con will need to show him the right money, and he's not talking about Tony, he's talking about good old Nick. The If you guys don't know, Nick Khan is the WWE COO, no relation to Tony whatsoever, and his buddy Trips, aka the game Triple H. We know MJF likes to spit things about WWE, but if I'm being all honest, I don't think he's gonna go there. I think this is all just a work. But MJF said he's sick of looking at wrestling fans, so maybe Hollywood wins. We know he's coming in an upcoming movie, so and then Tony Schiavone says, "We can only hope." I feel like Tony Schiavone just doesn't like MJF. Well, I don't blame him because every time Tony Schiavone interviews him, MJF always says some smart ass shit. But MJF said he almost forgot as the fans chanted "Shut the fuck up" again. MJF said, "Without these brass knuckles and without Regal, none of this is possible." MJF said that, or 40 years, Regal has given blood, sweat, and sacrifice for this business. MJF said that that's why he wanted to say from the bottom of his heart, and hits Regal in the back with the brass knuckles. I did not expect this at all. My jaw dropped. I did not know I don't know why that would happen. Regal has really bad uh, history with, injuries, brain bleeds, so the announcers were very, very concerned about that. It made MJF look like the devil. Bryan Danielson quickly runs out to check on Regal. The announcers sounded very, very serious. Bryan only had one boot on, so maybe MJF really took a strike on it, but this was a very, very long, long segment with different topics. I think it ended very, very cheap and kind of confusing, but at the same time, again, we know Regal's expected to sign with WWE, so it also leaves us a cliffhanger on what Regal is going to do next. We probably won't hear from him for a couple of weeks. Maybe he's injured. Maybe this is his way of saying goodbye to us. Who knows? But I think MJF mentioning Ricky Starks, also his next challenger, and Eddie Kingston and Danielson. I think it's a teaser to show, the AEW roster that he's not scared of any of yous. He's mentioned those three guys he mentioned, they're three of some of the most talented guys on the roster. So maybe to intimidate the roster a little bit. I also think his reference to Nick Khan and Triple H is also very important in this promo because he also talks a lot about WWE, which makes us think he might sign to WWE. We know he's very, very open about WWE, how much he likes it, how much he likes Triple H. So, and we know his relationship with Tony Khan isn't the best. So, before I give the stage to you, Anthony, I just want to say I'm very, very excited to see MJF having this title run. I hope they don't do what WWE is doing to Roman, having this 2-year title run. I could see them doing that just because, it would be a kind of interesting thing to see MJF as champion when his contract does expire in 2024. But what did you think of this segment? And how do you feel about MJF as a champion? Are you excited to see him uh in the future? Are you not excited? Are you excited to see some incredible possible matches we could have? Maybe CM Punk comes back. What do you hope for MJF with his title run?
Who?
Maxwell Jacob.
I think it's funny that MGF mentioned Bruno San Martino and all these other legends that are champions, but he chose not to mention me because he knew that he
He knew
couldn't
that you were
beat
the
me.
fucking ultimate champion. He knows that. He
He
knows that
knows that.
you're better than him, and he knows it.
So it's hard for me to comment on someone who, doesn't even stand. But I guess, you know, he talked about AEW being, a bad title. This is the best title. So the best champion will make a comment on it if I have to, Christian, since you asked. Normally, I wouldn't comment on anybody else because I am the champion. But I will
You are
say that
El
I am
Champion.
El Champion. There you go, sir. Um, uh, uh, where was I?
How do you feel about MJF? Maybe
Oh,
his
yes.
title.
Okay. I'm happy with MJF being champion. I'm telling you, he's just like so irrelevant to me that I don't even remember what I was talking about. I'm happy with him winning the title. He deserves it. He is probably one of the top sellers in AEW of whatever all time. William Regal is a great, great heel, great, bad guy. I kind of wish they had a little bit more of like a conversation, because then it would sort of be a bit more backstabby because Regal was just kind of quiet, and like I sort of was spoiled about it happening before seeing it on Facebook. So I wasn't as surprised. But I think that's why I was paying attention to Regal a bit more, and he wasn't really like he was just there. Um, and I felt like with it being that big of a bombshell, they should have included him a little bit more. Like have him be like, "Oh, you know, I'm so proud of you," like something, to make us. I feel like yeah, we already hate him, and we feel sorry for him, but people are saying you deserve it, like so. I kind of wish they did a little bit more of us to feel a little bit more sympathy for Regal. I know we did Moxley was fucked up, but I feel like the whole point was they want us to feel bad for him. Most fans did, but I can't help myself but question it when there were fans in the arena going, you deserved it. I want fans to be more like that's fucked up, more than but make it so big that they kind of forget about what happened with Moxley. I know it's hard to do, but if they because it looks like it's going to be Danielson and MJF. It seems like that's going to end up happening. Um, so I
You
don't
think that's
know.
going to be MJF's first big title defense against
Oh
Bryan
yeah,
Danielson?
Danielson was the first dude to run out. Like he was the only dude to run out. I mean, and Moxley's not going to help. I think they're going to do an angle where maybe Danielson might try to get Moxley to help out. And I think maybe what would be kind of cool, in my opinion, is they had him as like an outside enforcer and they do a send off to Regal, where maybe, I don't know, like, I think it's smart to write him off TV like that. But if they were going to do a send off, you know, I don't know, have him cost MJF the match by DQ by like punching him with brass knuckles and have him shake hands with like Danielson and the ones that sort of have him, reunite with Moxley. Say, I don't know. I just feel like what makes me sad is when Regal came in AEW, I was really excited, and when I found out he was leaving, I was like, already. So like, it's just I,
No,
you
I
know,
agree.
his
His
time isn't so important.
his debut. Sorry, I'm plugging my headset in. His debut when he first debuted, it really surprised me because I didn't think Regal would get so much more like the on-screen time. I thought maybe he was there to do his role, what he was doing at WWE, more like behind the scenes thing. But it did set up a good story considering the fact that, Moxley and Danielson have this huge respect for Regal. They both Regal's trained them in the past, so it's I hope I know he's going to leave. I hope he doesn't. But overall, I thought this was a good segment. A little long, kind of cheap, but I'm excited to see what MJF's gonna do, man. And speaking of his next opponent,
I think not to cut you off. I think it kind of fucks. Now that we know that Regal's gone, it fucks up the storyline. Because it's like, okay, now what do we
absolutely.
do? But
And what
go
are they
ahead.
gonna do with the Blackpool Combat Club?
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? But we talked a lot about Ricky Starks today, and we're going to be talking about him again because he is going one-on-one against Ari Daviari. Am I sorry if I pronounced his name wrong?
Ari Davari, sir.
Holy hell, sorry if I pronounced his name wrong. I never catch it. Every time Shivani says it on the commentary, I always like, what did he say? But this match was probably 25 seconds long. Starks had some momentum going in. Ari attacked Starks from behind while Starks was looking at Ethan Page on the ramp. Ricky Starks hits a spear. 1, 2, 3. This match was just to put Starks over because he's going for the AEW World Championship. And I don't really know what else to say about that. Ethan Page coming out, distracting. Um, so this match, I don't understand the point of this match. Like I wrote it down on my notes, but watching the match and reviewing the match was kind of like, what the hell is going on
I
here?
think AEW has a problem with this. Um, they like they think making a guy beat someone in 20 seconds like be like the head top.
No,
Like,
absolutely, and I
I'm
don't.
sorry, have him have a battle to make you be like, damn, this is a worthwhile contender. Like, to me, Ricky Starks, you already say he's probably gonna lose. And like his match against whoever it was that he fought, Davari, proves that you're gonna beat this guy in 20 seconds. You're gonna have a match against MJF, but why do you gotta wait till MJF? Have a bomb ass match to Dynamite before you take him on, so as fans think, oh. But go ahead.
No, I agree, but they could have done something better with this match. They could have maybe given Ricky Starks a better competitor, but who knows? I'm excited to see him take on MJF. So on Wednesday, the 14th. So we'll see. But The AEW Women's World Champion Jamie Hayter, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Rebel were interviewed by Tony Schiavone. Baker mentioned her 4-7 Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Indianapolis Colts. What? Come on now. We already know Steelers Nation. We're here to stay. We're
I
the
thought
best
of
team in the
you. Didn't
league.
she retweet your thing? I totally
Fun
thought.
fact, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, retweeted,
Yeah,
I posted a picture with my and hopefully the people can see the camera. So I have a
a
Dr.
bit.
Britt Baker action figure,
Yep.
and I posted that with the Steelers Terrible Town. She actually reposted it, so I thought it was really, really cool.
I
And
thought it was.
I also thought it was cool when she mentioned that. Baker complained that Saraya having a sit-down interview on Rampage this week. Um, One thing I want to say real quick, because I don't want to talk too much about this segment, because there's really nothing to talk about. I'm really sick of, Dr. Britt Baker. As much as I love her to death, I'm really starting to get sick of her, you know, do a lot of the talking in this group because now Jamie Hayter is our AEW Women's World Champion. She is the leader of the AEW Women's Division, technically speaking. So I feel like she should do more of the talking. I feel like it will set up a betrayal by
Mm.
Dr. Britt Baker, depending on what Saraya has to say Friday night on Rampage. But what do you think's next for? Do you think Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter will end up going against each other for the title
I
soon?
could see, yeah, I could see Jamie Hayter start to get because you made up a good point. Jamie Hayter is a champion. I was thinking the same exact thing. I don't feel like out of the two of them, out of the two of them, I think that Jamie is a good wrestler, but Britt has more star power. She shouldn't be talking, but I could see them being Jamie being like, you know, Britt's about to talk and Jamie being like, no, like I'm the champion. I'm gonna start talking.
Absolutely, and
And
I
I
think
could
that's what should
see
happen.
and I could see Britt being like, me because listen, Britt's not a bad face. She's a better heel. I don't mind her as a face. And I could see her because the thing is, Britt's already made a name for herself, right? Britt's the type of person where she's gonna have a good match whether she's a face or a heel. So I think turn Britt face, make her break up with Rebel and fucking and Jamie.
Absolutely.
And
I
you
don't
know what?
understand what they're doing with Rebel either.
And you know what they could even do? Call me stupid, call me crazy. But since everyone's talking about how, Britt Baker helped Saraya during her match, Britt Baker, have the fuckers team up then and have them team up against fucking Jamie and Rebel as their first thing. Not make this a whole entire, tag team. But, like, if you're gonna, I just think Britt Baker needs to turn bad because Jamie here right now doesn't have too many people to face, I think. So
No,
go ahead.
absolutely. And while I look for my headset charger, because my headset is beeping,
Ass, 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 ass.
I do want to talk about uh Jamie Hayter in a way because before she was AEW Women's World Champion, we really didn't see too much of her or hear from her. So I feel like she could do more of the talking as well. But my thing is, I feel like the reason why Britt Baker does more of the talking is she really is, and I don't care what anyone says, because it is a true fact. She really is the evolution. She really is the leader of that AEW women's
Mm-hmm.
locker room. She's
Mm-hmm.
been there since the very, very
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
She is the first female to ever sign with the company. So she knows what goes on. And that's why when Saraya came back and, oh, it's my house. No, it's not. It's not. But I'm excited. I loved seeing Britt Baker as champion because she really made the women's division worth watching. And I think her promos, in my opinion, and I know a lot of people disagree with me, and I will have this conversation if anyone wants to have it. I think Britt Baker does the best promos in the entire women's division. But
And all
speaking
of women's or just AEW?
women's, no, not AEW.
Wow, you're making a big comment. Okay, go ahead.
I don't want to sound like that, but MJF is in the company. Let's not forget that. And MJF I think does the best promos, and there's a lot of other good people. But speaking of the women's
Well, I
division,
thought you meant like women's, like meaning like the women's division in AEW or like women's division in the entire.
oh no, women's division in AEW.
Okay.
Women's division in AEW. But speaking of the women's division in AEW, Willow Nightingale versus Anna Jay with Ty Mello. Willow got a shoulder tackle and some clotheslines. Jay tried to fight back, but Willow hit a belly to back suplex. Willow hit a running cross back block for 2. Willow hit a corner back splash on Jay, then another splash, and Jay avoided an attack leading to a forearm. Jay with a back kick followed by a blockbuster neck breaker off the middle rope, leading to a pitcher break, like always. And then Willow was in the crowd with a boot to the face, followed by a spine buster for a count of 2. Jay got a back heel kick following a glory bomb slam for a 2 count. Jay went for her sleeper, so Willow fell back and landed on top of her. Willow elbowed her out of a move, but Jay rolled through for a pin for count of 2. Willow was backed up. Tay was on the apron, like she always does, and Willow knocked Tay down. Jay went for a weak clothesline that was obviously not going to connect. Hit a clothesline. Willow hit a Dr. Bomb for the pin. Match lasted about 10 seconds. I think it was just a baby face match to put Willow Nightingale over. You know, she's really big in size, and she was using her size. And then Ruby Soho's music hits as she made her return after being away from injury. I was really happy to see Ruby Soho come back. I was such a fan of her in WWE when she was Ruby Riott. So for her to come back and attack Tay for injuring her a few months ago, I thought it was a good little match, and I'm really happy to see. I think Ruby Soho coming back was the highlight of this match. But I'm gonna stop the talking, Anthony. What do you think about this women's match right here?
I agree, man. Willow Nightingale is cool. When I saw her live in AEW, that she was pretty cool. Her theme song's cool.
I
Uh,
miss Chris Silander, man. Where's she at?
oh yeah, she's been gone. Um, I like Willow. I like Ruby Soho. Her theme song's killer. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Ruby.
Destination unknown.
Oh, when they
Ruby
had it sing live at the pay-per-view,
Soho.
man, that was sick.
Yeah, so I really like her. I think she deserves a title shot. Like Ruby's the bomb. Like give her a shot.
TBS title shot.
CBS,
I
yeah,
don't think
yeah,
maybe
whatever.
she should be the one to beat Jade Cargill. And
Yeah, her like somebody.
and
Um, I
speak
mean, because I don't think she really even went after her yet. She would be an interesting person to do it.
No, absolutely, because it you know why it would be an interesting. They were in the championship match where Jade Cargill won the TBS championship. It was against Ruby Soho, so Ruby could
Oh,
get
she
her
beat
revenge.
Ruby?
They did the TBS championship match, and the finals were Jade Cargill versus Ruby
Oh, I
Soho.
didn't know they fought before. Interesting. Yeah, she could come back and get it. Um, okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm a big Ruby Soho fan, so let's go, Ruby.
So, speaking of Jade Cargill, the TBS championship celebration.
She looked
She,
fine.
oh I saw her
Becky,
her
quack,
I
quack.
used to go to the a local farm baseball team right up the street, and her husband plays on the one team, and I screamed Jade Cargill, and he like gave me like a look because like no one knew who Jade. But this was a stupid segment. Jade Cargill made her entrance as a TBS championship wearing a green robe and an outfit that had money on her titties. It was a unique look because you know that's just kind of the Jade Cargill vibe.
I
Jade
was
was joined
happy.
by so was I. Jade Jade Cargill was joined by Red Velvet and Layla Gray in the ring like always. There was some confetti, a cake, and balloons. Jade said,
Red Velvet's sexy too.
"Oh my God, I know." Jade said they were there for her celebration. Jay said that she says who stays and who goes in the baddies. Jade was confused why Red and Layla were chilling with Kiera Hogan last weekend. Jade said that she got her title back from Nyla Rose at Full Gear and that the standing next to her is a blessing. Cargill said that the baddies are eating off her and the company is eating off her too. Cargill says that nobody has her body, her face, and her era. Cargill claimed that she puts asses in seats. Cargill says she wrestles for bad bitches and says that she is the real deal. And then here comes Bow Wow. Bow Wow was shown on the camera congratulating Cargo on her little win. Bow Wow said he's done with this. When he's done with this tour, he will be seeing her real soon. Jade Cargo got really mad and left the ring. I thought this was a weird segment. I thought this was going to be about Jade Cargo, finally celebrating her win, as she finally got her TBS championship back. I think this was just a corny little segment, stupid little segment to put in the show. Um, you know, to tease a future appearance on Bow Wow. Because let's be honest, who gives two shits about Bow Wow? Maybe he
Yeah.
was Lil Bow Wow back in the day. Um, and I want to talk a little bit about AEW bringing guest appearances on the show, because recently they had Rick Ross do a promo for Swerve and Keith Lee, and man, he fucking killed it. He probably put a better promo than 80% of the AEW roster. Um, but I feel like, they bring a lot of these rappers that come into AEW, and to me, I don't get me wrong, with the exception of Action Bronson, I'm a huge fan of Action Bronson. He's been a wrestling fan since he was a kid, and he is also Hook's theme song. So I understand why he had his match at Grand Slam, but they bring a lot of these, celebrities guest appearances that really don't talk too much, or don't really talk too much really about the pro wrestling industry. And do we know that they're fans? Are they there because it's AEW? And when we see in WWE, for example, Logan Paul, he was a fan of WWE growing up. Bad Bunny was a fan of WWE growing up. A lot of these celebrities, Johnny Knoxville, a fan of a lot of these the guys that celebrities that do appearances on WWE, they're true organic wrestling fans. They care about the business. They're not there just for the buck or for the attention, or hey, I'm on WWE. I feel like a lot of the guys that AEW brings in, I feel like they're just there to be on, wrestling. But I thought this was a stupid segment. I don't know what they're going to do with Lil Bow Wow, nor do I give two shits. Anthony, what is your opinion on Jade Cargo, and what do you think they're going to do with Lil Bow Wow here?
I agree. I don't give two shits. Um, I
Well, that
mean,
was easy.
that was easy. I don't give two shits. I mean, fuck you, Bow Wow. He's yeah. I don't give two. I mean, that's all I can say. I don't give two shits. That's a have her
I
fight
I
and
I
not Bow
truly
Wow.
don't. I truly don't give two shits. Um, I don't know. Maybe I want to ask you this question because I don't really think I have had the chance to have this conversation with anybody. Who do you think's gonna be the first one to take Cargo's, TBS title? Who's gonna give her first loss? She's also, one of the original AEW female superstars. So who's finally gonna take that
I
title
think it's
from her?
gonna be Ruby.
Okay.
I think Ruby's gonna do it. I think she. I mean, I really don't see at this point. Athena's not gonna do it. I mean, maybe Mercedes ain't gonna do it because she fought. Didn't Mercedes fight her before Martinez?
Yeah, but she's the Ring of Honor Women's World
Yeah,
Champion
so
right
she ain't
now.
gonna.
I haven't heard from her in a
Maybe a
while.
new hire. I don't know. I just don't see anybody right now. Ooh, Anna Jay, Tay Mello. No. So they're gonna be Ruby Soho or a new hire.
N- I I agree. I feel like there's a lot of my problem is I feel like there's so many women in the AEW roster that don't get a main title opportunity, and I feel like them having a TBS title would benefit them so much because there's so many women that in the AEW locker room that are so talented, and I feel like we all just, we pay attention to the Britt Bakers, we pay attention to the Sarayas, we pay attention to the Tony Storms. Why do we pay attention, with the exception of Britt Baker, why do we pay attention to the Tony Storms? Why do we pay attention to the Sarayas? Why do we pay attention to all these girls? Because a lot of them are ex-WWE girls and they have a career. They're coming into AEW with a background. Like, for example, Anna Jay, Ty Conti, uh, who's who's the House of Black, Julia Hart, girls like those, we don't know much about. They don't have an experience. So for I feel like they should be more of the ones to get the TBS championship. And I get it. You want good booking, and good booking is something AEW has been fucking lacking on recently. Their booking has just been lazy, in the words of Jim Cornette. Lazy booking.
I do have an honest question for you. Do you really think Anna Jay and Jay's been boring too, but do you really think Anna Jay's gonna have a really good title reign?
No, I don't. But I think Ty Conti could.
If she, yes, yes,
I
yes,
don't know necessarily
yes,
Anna
I
Jay. I
agree.
don't know
Yes,
necessarily Julia Hart.
yes.
We
Julia
we don't
Hart
even
might,
we
Anna
don't
Jay
see.
might, not Anna Jay, Tay might.
I feel like Tay might. I may take back what I say about Julia Hart just because we don't see her necessarily wrestle. We see her. They're like the House of Black's aide. So I don't know. Excuse me. It's gonna be very, very interesting to see. I'm hoping. I want to say Ruby, but ooh, I'm gonna say Red Velvet turns on Cargo or Kiera Ho. No, not Kiera Hogan. I would say Red Velvet takes that championship from Cargo.
Okay. I mean,
But
they're doing a whole thing about, you're in my presence. Could be.
that's the reason I feel like maybe Red Velvet. She's coming back from injury, so maybe I think it's time for her to be because we see some of the matches she has on like Dark Evolution, and she kills it, man. I think she should be um definitely in a main. She shouldn't have Jade Cargill next to her. I feel like she should have the spotlight all to herself. But before we get to our main event, I do want to talk about the commercial. This Friday night on AEW Rampage, we know it will be the All-Atlantic champion Orange Cassidy taking on QT Marshall for the All-Atlantic Championship. We will hear from Swerve in Our Glory. It will be Darby Allin versus Cole Carter. Saraya talks to Renee Paquette, and with our main event being Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett versus the Private Party. One thing I do want to say. Oh, and I'm sorry. And the Acclaimed with Daddy Ass will also make an appearance on um Rampage this Friday night. One thing I do want to say about Rampage real quick before we take our last break here and we talk about the main event. I feel like they really need to step it up with Rampage. It's become less than a B show to me. Um, they do a lot of the Ring of Honor guys, and I get it. Ring of Honor doesn't have a TV deal yet. They're just they haven't got anything going with them yet. So I get it. They're trying to use as much TV time as they can, but it's only an hour. And I feel like Rampage should be the show where, guys like QT Marshall, attack teams like the Private Party, guys like I don't want to say Darby Allin, but like guys like, Cole Carter. I feel like guys like those would be a perfect asset to Rampage because I feel like Rampage should be a show where they develop new talent we've never heard of before. We've heard of Jeff Jarrett, excuse me. Why the fuck did I just say that? We know who Jay Lethal is. We know who Darby Allin is. Orange Cassidy, the crowd loves him. So, what are your opinions on AEW Rampage? And another thing is, it's right after SmackDown at 11 o'clock. Unless the match card isn't, oh my God, who is going to stay up besides me, of course, at 10 o'clock? Excuse me, 11 o'clock till midnight to watch this. What are your thoughts on Rampage here?
I don't watch it. When we were at the Dynamite
Did
episode, I
you leave?
left. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, it just doesn't do it for me. I feel like they don't have enough to bring to. Oh, Renee Paquette versus Saray. I'm excited to see that, but they're like, oh, that's definitely worthwhile to tune in. No, it's not. I go on YouTube and find out what happens. There's nothing that makes me want to tune in.
The only thing that makes me want to tune in is when I'm watching SmackDown and I see like, oh, AEW. Hey, there's more wrestling like after Friday night. And it's a Friday night, it's the weekend, but I definitely hopefully in the future when they get a better contract deal, it'll be 2 hours. But we're going to take our last break here and then we're going to talk about a long main event between the Elite, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks versus Death Triangle, Pac, Ray Phoenix, and Penta. So when we come back, we will talk about that main event.
And I'll be hating on it, but it's cool. All right, we'll see you in a bit. Hi.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back here. So we're going to talk about our main event, which is The Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus Death Triangle, Rey Fenix, Penta, and Pac. The Death Triangle made their entrance and they were attacked by the Elite on the ramp. Oh, excuse me, I'm getting a little too ahead. The Elite, Kenny Omega and Young Bucks made their entrance again to carry on Wayward Son. I love when they do that entrance, by the way. I remember when they first did that. Obviously, Full Gear made their return. I love Kenny Omega's theme song. I will say, like Battle Cry, that is my favorite theme song in AEW. So I'm disappointed they're not doing that right now. But it's cool. It's cool. It's a good song. Everyone sings along. It's kind of like Jon Moxley's Wild Thing. So whatever. But the Death Triangle made their entrance and they were attacked by the Elite on the ramp. The Elite did a bunch of moves to knock down the champions on the ramp, including Omega hitting a leg drop to the back of Pac's head, leading Pac to break his nose. Crashing into the ramp, Omega charged at Pac, who hit Omega with a super kick. Phoenix and Penta hit both Young Bucks with cutters. They went to a pitcher break. By the way, it was a really good start to the show. It makes sense for the Elite to attack the Death Triangle. They're ahead in the series. They beat him twice with the hammer, with the referee not looking too cheap, really cheap ass wins. So it just makes sense for the Elite to attack. So I thought for this match, and I'm not a big fan that they're doing, the best out of 7 shit, but this was a really, really good start to the match. I will admit. But they're still fighting on the floor in pitcher break. The referee must have told him the show was back on or something. So Omega tossed Penta back in the ring and started the match. And then the match officially begins with the bell ringing. The match started with about 15 minutes left in the show. So we know the match isn't going to be too long. So, it's kind of predictable. We're not going to give, the Death Triangle's up in the series 2-0. I don't think they would let, them be 3-0. Um, but the Young Bucks gave Pac and Phoenix each a power bomb on the apron. Penta hit some backbreakers on the Elite. Matt went for a drop kick on Penta to the floor, but Penta moved and Matt kicked the referee to knock him down. Penta hit a somersault dive over the top onto the 3 Elite guys. Penta hit a hammer got a hammer from ringside, but Phoenix stopped his brother from using it. Penta grabbed the hammer and shoved his brother back, but Phoenix stopped it. Omega hits a V trigger knee on Phoenix after Penta moved on. Young Bucks hit super kicks on Penta, and Omega hits a dragon suplex on Penta. The referee was back in the ring as Omega hit as the guys went after Penta, who avoided them the entire match, while Phoenix and Pa hit their super kicks as well. All 3 members of the Death Triangle did moves off the top rope to opponents. Penta hit a Fear Factor Power Driver on Omega for a 2 count. There were a lot of super kicks in the match, and we know that's what the Young Bucks like to do. We know that's what these luchadors like to do. So I'm interested. I'm also a martial artist, so I like the kicking. But Pac tried to hit Omega with something off the turnbuckle. Pac headbutted Omega. Pac didn't use his hand like some wrestlers that do this very safe headbutt that we know, I don't want to say his name, but there's some wrestlers that, get serious head injuries, so it's really important that, no matter how good you are, you really got to make sure that you do these stunts at the best because you can't afford, God forbid, have anything problems with your head. But so they went to another commercial with Omega hit Pac with another V trigger. Pac hit a German suplex that put Omega back on his feet, and Omega decked Pac with a running clothesline. Nick and Phoenix tagged in, leading their usual dance routine to avoid each other, and Nick hit a cutter. Mac tagged in, then the Bucks did their more bang for your buck combo move, ending with Matt hitting a moonsault for 2. Everybody got into the ring again. I don't know why they don't just do tornado tag team matches at this point. I hope they eventually switch it up because it's really getting tired of this traditional tag team shit. But as Pac and Penta hit super kicks, Phoenix hit Omega with a cutter. Penta and Phoenix did a double team Fear Factor with a stomp on Matt. Phoenix hit a dive on Kenny Omega and Nick Jackson on the floor. Penta hit a splash off the top on Kenny and Nick on the floor. I already said that. I apologize. Pac covered Matt for a 2 count, followed by uppercut and brainbuster for 2. Pac went up the top and he did a black arrow splash, and Matt got to his knees to block. Omega and Nick were holding the other guys while Matt pinned Pac with the cradle for the pin. 1, 2, 3, and the Elite finally win the match. I'm tired of seeing this match. I truly am. I understand, the Elite didn't necessarily lose their AEW Trios Tag Team Championships. They had to give it away, do some backstage drama, which we all know about. Um, I just don't understand the best of seven series. I just don't. Maybe there's no other trio tag team matches to be involved, which is again, I don't understand why they even have the trios tag team championships. It just doesn't mean anything. There's too many championships as is already in AEW, especially with Ring of Honor being a part of it. It was a lot of kicking. That's like I said earlier, that's what we expect with the Young Bucks. That's really what they're good at. The Elite finally win. I'm happy they didn't give Death Triangle the win because it just wouldn't make sense for the Elite to keep winning and winning and winning, and then they do. Whoever wins this match wins it. So I'm happy the Elite finally has a chance to tie the series up. I think Pac is an excellent, excellent worker. I'm always been a fan of him, even back in his Adrian Neville days. These guys work together so much, and I think the chemistry is there, so that's why they always put on good matches. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't want to see it all the time. Um, but again, you have these championships, you don't really know who else they could put in the trios tag team picture. Um, But what do you think about this match, man? What do you think about the Elite coming back? How have they been since they've been back? And do you think the best of seven series is necessary for this?
No. I'm cool with Kenny Omega. I think he's cool. Um, I just feel like the problem with AEW, I feel like, is you have so much star power that some of the other people get lost. Like I just forgot we just talked about Ruby Soho, and then there's Kenny Omega. Like there's not enough good characters in AEW right now, I think. Um, but it was cool to see Elite get the win, I guess. It was kind of bound to happen. They've already lost, what was it, like two matches.
Mm-hmm. They're
Um,
down 2-0.
and I didn't really watch it, so I can't judge the match, but I can say that I agree with you. Like, start making it tornado tags because, like, they're always in the ring.
And
There's
it's
too
such a
much action. It's hard to
I
call.
know. It's such a good listen, the Death Triangle, ever since, they've been doing their thing here in AEW, I've always enjoyed their match. I think every single match they've put on has been amazing. But they've all been in traditional, trio tag team matches. I want to see all of them in the ring at the same time. Excuse me, with no referee in the way. Um, I don't want to see it 7 times against the same tag team, but with the Elite, we know the Elite, their history, their best friends, they're VPs of the company, but at the same time, I don't want to see them, together. I do want to see Kenny. Kenny Omega came back. He came back from over 200 days, and this is how you're gonna book him? You're really gonna book him doing the trios tag team titles. I'm not saying he should be in the main event picture for a title shot, but fuck, he should. He had one of the greatest matches against Bryan Danielson. And the bookings, no, it pisses me off because before Omega got hurt, he was having the best matches. And now I expected him coming back. I expect him, maybe going against Adam Page because that's the guy he had his last match with. Maybe going after Bryan Danielson because they've only had one match and it was probably the best match I've ever seen in AEW in the 3 years they've been doing it. So they've been booking Kenny Omega terrible since he's been back. And I don't know. Like I've never been a fan of the Young Bucks. As much as I'm the biggest Adam Cole fan, I'm not a fan of the Young Bucks. I think they're
Fuck
boring.
them.
I think they're overrated as fuck. Um, but I do love Kenny Omega, and I do want to see him do more single stuff. Because, like I said, he is a phenomenal. He's one of the best. And I know he's doing his singles match with Will Ospreay, um, coming up here, New Japan Pro Wrestling at the Thunderdome. But that's not AEW. Will Ospreay is not AEW. So I don't know. I do Want to see Omega have more singles opportunities. I
I
hope this
agree.
series ends soon. I hope they get rid. I don't think they will get rid of the trios titles. I don't know what they're going to do with the trios titles after this series is over. They won't be having this match this Wednesday on Dynamite, so it's good to have a break from this match
Mm,
because I can't fucking watch this and cover it again.
too much.
It's mediocre. It's so bad. Ugh. But to conclude the show, I just want to give my own personal thoughts. I thought the three stars of the show were MJF, obviously. I'm going to say Bryan Danielson because I thought Bryan Danielson and Dax Harwood's match was the best singles match of the night, and Danielson got the win. So I'm going to say Danielson, and I I'm going to say I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say the Elite just because they put on a great main event. I got to give them credit. They won. They needed this win. So those are my three stars of the show. And overall, I thought I'm gonna give the show a 7 out of 10. I thought, and it could have the MJF segment could have been better, especially with him, this being his first time coming back to Dynamite after his AEW title win against Moxley at Full Gear. Um, the main event was I don't want to keep saying because I thought it was good, but I just keep saying because again I'm tired of seeing it. Um, I thought it was a really good show. I hope this week's good. Um, it was a good show. What that's all I gotta say about it, man, Anthony. What did you think about this episode of Dynamite? How did you
I
feel
thought it
about it? What
was
what
good.
what was your favorite maybe match of the night, maybe moment of the night?
So I'll do what you did, the MVP thing, because that's kind of cool.
Okay, cool.
And I'll give you my match and stuff too. So I thought it was good. I haven't watched Dynamite in a while, so I thought it was okay for someone an avid new viewer, not avid viewer, someone who doesn't watch often. I'm messing up my words here. So I don't watch often, but I thought it was good. I gave it like a 6 out of 10. Um, the I don't know. I just feel like it's very like all over the place.
I
When
agree.
I
I
watch
no, I agree.
WWE, like you know what you're getting. AEW is just a different sort of situation. I don't know. But I give it a 6 out of 10. For me, the MVPs, I know you said MJF. I'm gonna say Dax Harwood because he keeps putting on banger after banger. You expect it from Bryan. I don't know if you really expect it from
No,
Dax, so
yeah.
I'm happy with that. Another person that stood out was Bryan Danielson too. I know that I just said Dax, but he also put on a decent match. And the last person that stands out to me randomly is surprisingly Samoa Joe. I just really like Samoa Joe, and I know he really didn't do much, but I'm just I guess that just shows what I think about what's happening in AEW right now. Like I just don't care about the elite. I don't care about them fighting that triangle. But the same people over and over and over and over again. I'm over it. I give it a 6 out of 10. Match of the night: Dax versus Bryan.
I
Um,
absolutely agree.
yeah, but yeah, I mean that's sort of where my head's. I'm excited for Rampage to find out what Saraya has to say to Renee. But
That
aside
is the
from
only
that,
thing
that's
I'm
it.
excited for
Yeah.
Rampage. That is the only thing I'm excited for Rampage.
But I am excited for next week. Next week it's not winter is coming, or will it be like what is this upcoming Wednesday? Is it a
This upcoming Wednesday is just Dynamite. I think
gotcha?
next week, the 14th, is Winter's Coming.
Winter is coming. Okay, cool.
But
So
it
maybe
was
they'll give us one more week and let Ricky
right,
start trying to get strong. Go ahead.
right. I can't wait to cover that episode or at least talk about it with you because I think it's going to be interesting too. I'm happy also to see Hangman Adam Page back. I hated him for the longest time when he was champion. Not because I hated him. I always was a fan of him. I just thought he was a terrible champion. We never saw him on TV. He never defended it. So I'm happy he's not. I like him not being the champion. Again, main event match was entertaining. Had a nice brawl before the match started. Um, I think it could have been better, because we've seen him have better matches in the past. But it was a good Dynamite. It was. It could have been better. I don't think. I hope this week is better than. I hope this coming one is better than the one we just did reviewed because it's leading up to a big match between Starks and MJF, and that's your championship match. So that's most likely your main event. So any final thoughts, Anthony, on AEW Rampage on November 28th?
Wait, Dynamite.
Did I say Rampage?
Yeah, I thought
I hate myself.
no, I got confused because I thought it. No, you want to hear something? You
And
want
it's
to hear?
it's let me try that again. Anthony, any final thoughts you have about this episode of AEW Dynamite on November 30th, 2022?
Fun fact: I was doing a show with one of my friends who was doing his own. He has his own podcast. Um, oh gosh, what's his name? I want to shout him out. I'll shout it out later. And he covers like women's wrestling, and so we did like a. I joined his show to do like a top 10 like
Oh, that's awesome.
male SmackDown like moments thing. And my number one moment was a surprise, and I was like all excited. I was like, yo, this is the best moment ever. He didn't have it. I'm like, when Becky Lynch got punched in the nose, and I said this live. That happened on Raw, but I thought it happened on SmackDown. And so my number one moment wasn't even a SmackDown moment. We were covering a
Oh,
SmackDown show. That's
um,
pretty bad. But go ahead. Sorry.
so what's next for the Uncensored Pro Wrestling podcast here? I'm gonna give it back to the lead host
Oh,
here.
what's next?
What's next for the Uncensored Pro Wrestling podcast here?
Ladies Love Cool Christian is what seems to be coming up a lot. Um, yeah, we got a lot of shows coming. We got the Slammy Awards dropping soon. We're gonna be covering, the best matches of 2022, best female wrestlers, best male wrestlers, maybe even best company. Who knows? Have fun. We're also got SmackDown coming up. That recap, a Raw recap. We have, I think, isn't it? There's some kind of thing coming up soon. Oh, we have our top 20 countdown. Number 19, SummerSlam 2000 coming your way soon. Rampage coming up. Dynamite. My friend Christian here is going to be killing the recaps with that. Attitude Years. Yeah, just a bunch of different shit, man. But I'm happy that Christian's doing this because he's a big AEW fan. And if you have any questions, we do this thing on Spotify, Christian, and say this shit where you can do like Q&As. Do you have any questions that maybe listeners might want to answer to?
Hmm.
Fun
What
thing.
I want to get a little bit into this. Why? And I want to know your guys' reason why. What do you guys think, what company do you think is on top right now? Is it WWE since Triple H has taken over? Is it AEW right now since MJF has been, champion? What are you guys more excited to see on a weekly? Is it AEW or WWE? Let's spice it up in the chat a little bit.
I mean, throw me in there too. I'm the WWE pay-per-view champion. I mean, they want to see me every week. I'm kidding. I mean, they
And
do, but
check out Anthony every week. You don't want to miss him.
dude, my Instagrams are bomb. Anyways, uh, check out LL Cool C LLCC. Wanna be, don't
LLCC.
be, hate on nobody, because his name is Christian and he's killing it. AEW or
Killing
Elite
it.
Wrestling.
Shout out to Anthony for letting me, take more of the lead in this episode today, letting me do more of the talking today. I appreciate it.
I'm
You
gonna
know,
try to let Christian show his here at one point because I'm super jealous of his. Is he gonna do it? Here he fucking goes, all in his fucking
yeah,
glory.
I'll be nice for the people.
He's got like a very nice Johnny Depp glow to him, ladies. So it's very mean, piratey, sort of
I'll go
cool.
nice for the people here.
Wow. He wants the fucking
This is
dude.
what it looks like.
Dude, I totally just fucking promoted the shit out of you. I said you're giving some Johnny Depp vibes. I said that you are letting the ladies see your room and the long hair. Dude, I appreciate you, man.
No, I appreciate you, man. I really do, man.
And I
I
hope the
know.
ladies appreciate me now for doing that for y'all. See, I got to
I hope
have
the
to high
ladies
five.
appreciate me too.
Boom. I got you. I got you. All right. Well,
No, but this was awesome.
send
I
this home, sir.
appreciate it. All right, guys. Again, shout out to Anthony for letting me cover this episode's Dynamite. I can't wait to do it again. check out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast on YouTube if you want to see our beautiful faces. I know you guys want to, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn on your post notifications. And if you don't want to see our beautiful faces, which I don't know why you guys wanted to, check us out on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, wherever you guys listen to your guys' podcast. Thank you again for listening to the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm Christian. This is Anthony, and we are out.
Christian, can I tell you before you leave? I just got
No, go ahead.
You are giving me. You probably. I don't know if you've heard this before. I'm going to say this to you. You are giving me the dude from that Pretty Little Liars show. That You ever hear this before? What's that fucking dude's name? I have no idea what his name is. I think his name is it Jacob in this show? No. I don't know, but you're giving me that dude. He's hang on. Folks, we gotta pause for this because this is a big deal.
What show?
Christian, search up Pretty Little Liars, type in just type in Tyler Blackburn long hair and see what happens. Like, you're giving me vibes. Not exactly, but I'm getting that the vibe, mysterious, quiet, moody. Not exactly right, but
What's the name?
Tyler
Tyler Blackburn.
Yes,
I see him. His name's Caleb in the show.
Yeah, I said Jacob, whatever. But see, not exactly, but you see what I'm
A
saying?
little bit.
Not exactly, but like a little bit, right? All right.
A little bit.
I have no life, guys. I just wanted to let the viewers go check that out. Let us know in the Q&A if you think Christian looks like Tyler Blackburn. I think he does. So cool. And I look like fucking Kevin Owens, so fuck it. He's my cousin, my long lost cousin. Anytime he comes on, I gotta represent him.
Are you Canadian?
Yeah, he's my Canadian brother. Just like you are my Philly brother.
Yes, sir.
Home Motown Philly's going. I think I'm Philly. All right. Thank you, everybody. Yes. Yeah. Bye. Sorry. I don't even know what happened. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.